It's Nardwuar at Neptune Records, waiting for Tommy Tommy Shelby! Welcome to Neptune Records! Neptune Records 27 years later.
Wow.
That's the last time that I talked to Tommy.
Wow.
So, Tommy Chong, how about the Beatles? It's been rumored that John and Paul had some wild escapades in different rooms. Did you ever hear anything about that?
I met John and Rod Stewart in a bedroom the same night. It was at a party at Lou Adler's house. And they were in there. I was going to go and find a place to smoke a joint. And they were in there. John was sitting on the floor kind of he was in his Mei Ling era, you know, the Chinese secretary. And Rod was sitting on the bed. I think he was going, or he just met Britt Eklund at the time. And I come in, hey, how are you doing, guys? Lit up a joint, and they freaked. They were afraid of the immigration. And John wouldn't take a toke, and Rod wouldn't take a toke. So I said, fuck you, smoked it myself.
From East 15th Avenue?
Yeah.
Shelby?
No, you know me.
Nardwuar. 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 Nardwuar.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Tommy Chong.
And who do you have beside you, Tommy?
This is my gorgeous boss, Shelby Chong.
That's right. I'm the boss. Sometimes.
She wears that outfit right there. No.
Tell them our secrets,
Okay.
please.
By Mad Dog.
And she has a whip too.
Welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Back to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, that's where we are, huh?
And right off the bat, I would like to give you something that I always give rappers, the Big Bamboo.
What the paper?
Are you aware that I give a lot of rappers the Big Bamboo?
I bet.
You really? You have copies of that?
I do.
Wow, it's amazing.
I've given this actually to Lil Wayne, to Rico Nasty, and Schoolboy Q. He actually smoked this. This is incredible. I've given the record to other people before, but never have they really taken such evasive action.
Weirdos, they don't take you serious. I respect what you do, homie. Don't trip. I fuck with you. I fuck with you. Them niggas don't fuck with you the way I fuck with you, dog. Well, I fuck with you, my nigga. You my nigga. Nigga, finish. Where lighter at? This motherfucker, maybe I think this is the real one. Ain't go. It's the real one. Hey, I doubted you, bro.
I'm not lying.
The real one. It didn't hurt. It really didn't hurt. I thought I was about to die. You right. Hey, I really fuck with you. You a real nigga.
Well, thanks so much, Schoolboy Q. Anything else you want to add to the people out there at all?
This shit is good.
Could you tell about this? People weren't supposed to smoke this, were they? Like Schoolboy Q smoked it right then and there.
Although this one, you could. It's a better paper than the original.
Is this a new edition of it? Is that why?
No, that's the original.
Original?
Original, Tommy.
The paper's really good, though.
Beautiful.
It's in mint condition, only the best.
Only Tommy Chong would have enough dope to fill this up, too.
What can you say about this right there? The Calgary Shades.
See, this is this was
Wow.
this is the band we brought to Vancouver.
So cute.
It wasn't the band we started off with in Calgary, but they're all gone except me.
What were your memories of the Shades? Like you played Britannia High School, Bill Doggett numbers.
Oh yeah.
High school, the Shades did? Wow.
What was it like in Calgary growing up? Like people called the cops on you because you were riding horses?
Oh no, that was when we went to Red Deer, Alberta, and we had a gig in Red Deer, and so we were there early. And one of our favorite things to do was rent horses, and because Tommy, well, all of them grew up riding horses.
Where's Tommy?
Tommy was an expert horse rider. Well, he was an expert football player. And so we'd rent horses. And so we went to Red Deer and we actually did that. And the guy tried to make us ride in formation, okay, follow me. And we said, yeah, right, rah. And we went racing off. Then they chased us and that was fun. And then they called the cops. And pretty soon, the cops were going around picking up all the black people that were in Red Deer at the time, which was our band.
Oh, because it was just your band.
Just our band. But Maxine happened to be with us. And so, yeah, we got stopped and picked up and taken to the police station. And not fingerprinted or anything, but they just wanted to know, what the hell are you guys doing here, you know? And we were just riding horses and playing music, playing rock and roll.
Eventually, the Shades moved to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and became Little Daddy and The Bachelor.
Oh my goodness, he has everything. You're amazing.
This is my original tune. This is the one and only tune I wrote, Junior's Jerk.
Oh, Junior's Jerk.
There's a jerk coming out, and so I did Junior's Jerk. It's a good song.
Where did you record that? Aragon?
No. It wasn't a recording studio. It was a radio station on Hastings, I believe, upstairs. And we had to be out in the stairway because they never had a recording studio. We won, by the way, the Teen Fair thing.
Oh, because of this.
Yeah, we won the Teen Fair, and we won a recording contract with RCA Records. And,
Because of that?
yeah, and it was like a one-take thing. Too much monkey business?
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other side.
On one side.
What can you say about these people right here?
Okay. Again, I'm the only guy left. That's Tommy Milton, Wes Henderson. That's me, and this is Don Mallory. Now, Don Mallory was from Seattle. Don was the drummer, and Don was very funny. In fact, he was probably related to Jimmy. If you look at him, he looks like Jimmy. He's got that same.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's got that same Jimi Hendrix. Don was a trip.
What do you think, Shelby?
Oh, he looks so handsome. Took his glasses off.
What do you remember about Tommy from that era? Did you ever see the Little Daddy and the Bachelors?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We used to hang out with Little Daddy and the Bachelors. That's when I met him. And when we met him, and then we said, "What was this shit? You guys you're all married and you're calling yourself bachelors." So.
That's right.
And was that in White Rock?
White Rock. Yeah, we met in White Rock, and that was the first time. And then we met at the Teen Fair after that.
And what about Bobby Taylor? You met him in San Francisco?
Yeah. We saw Bobby at Big Al's strip club, and he great singer. And so when we got back, we were on a road trip, and when we got back to Vancouver, our drummer quit, Floyd Sneed. He quit, and we phoned Bobby to ask him if he could find a drummer for us. And Bobby said, "Hey, I can play drums. I'll come." And so he came up to be our drummer and singer, and he ended up just being the singer.
You did a lot of stuff with the Vancouvers.
Oh yeah.
She was in this hotel when we took this picture.
I was. That's a creepy looking group. I think I like that other group much better.
What do you mean? That was a good looking. You know what happened? We had a black group, but they got deported from Vancouver because they went down to celebrate. They went down to celebrate our signing.
That's Bobby Taylor, and that's Tommy Chong.
Did Eddie and Robbie help babysit Michael Jackson
Yes. Well, they were around at the time.
backstage?
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah. Like we did.
Yeah, we were all there.
Were you on the road too?
Yeah, but they didn't help. Nobody needed to babysit them. They were like little men at the time.
I thought he was practicing. He was like 10 years old, practicing his routine.
Show, and he was so tiny. You have to get a chair or stool to climb up to do his hair. He was so cute.
Little Coke box. You
Yeah.
turn it over and stand up there.
Oh, no, they were all like, they acted like they were 40, all of them. They were very cool.
But you were remembered, Shelby and Tom, for being in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And actually, right now here, let's bring over with Aaron Chapman, the author of an important book.
Hey, Tommy, how are you? Good to see you.
Could you explain who do we have here, Aaron? Who do we have here?
We have Tommy Chong and Shelby Chong here. It's amazing. Speaking of history, Tommy, I interviewed you about this last year, and when I saw you last, we didn't have it out yet, so it's out now, and there's a chapter in here basically dedicated to you called 4 Clubs and a Chong, isn't it?
Oh, is that what you call it? I love
So
that.
I'm very proud to finally put a copy in your hands, and all the clubs we've been talking about, or you've been talking, a lot of them are in there. The Blues Palace, Elegant Parlor, all your clubs you ran, back at the Shanghai Junk.
Every major act in the world came through
Oh,
Vancouver.
the Marco Polo. Oh, yeah, look at this one with the Marco Polo.
Amazing.
And also, Shelby, A.O. Aaron wrote a book all about the Clark Park Gang.
Yes, and I know your brother Stan. Yeah, so yeah,
I heard about that.
An entire book.
yes.
You
So I
wrote an entire book about the Stan the Man?
not just about Stan, but
Last gang in town.
but about the days of the Clark Park Gang back.
We were
in the
little.
70s.
I think we were like 13, 14. Whenever we'd walk through Clark Park, the gang would come out to attack us. They go, "We're Stan's brothers, sisters, Stan's sisters." So they go, "Okay, let him go, let him go."
That sounds right.
Oh, there's the City Works. Oh my God.
So that's a gift for you from Aaron.
Yes. I was just passing through, so welcome back to town.
Autographed. Aaron, autographed. Autographed.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
So nice.
So enjoy, and
you,
wonderful to have you back in town for a bit.
you.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
And thanks so much, Aaron and Doot Doo Loot Doo.
Do.
In Aaron's book, it mentioned a Shanghai Junk. That was a club that was a strip club, but you changed it to a comedy club without telling people?
No, we told the people that needed to know.
You're
But
right.
no-
There was no advertisement, so the guys would come out down that were up north would come to the club and they
Thinking
go,
it was a strip club.
they go, "Where's the fucking girls? Get these hippies off the stage." I was a waitress. They got very
We
upset.
would we'd start the show off with a mime artist,
Oh yeah, they tortured them. They tortured them.
and they're thinking they're going to see a girly show, and then David Graham would come out and sing a song, and then I would finally break the comedy by coming out and beating him to death with a rolled up newspaper.
But then they did have girls in the show that took off their clothes. So
Yeah, we
but the audience went from being packed to nothing. So Tommy's brother fired him.
well, it wasn't packed. No, we packed them in, but the thing is,
Oh, yeah,
we
they did
changed from a strip club bikers and horny businessmen to theater goers that really enjoyed the improvisational theater. And so we packed the club, but we weren't making any money because they would count, the customers would count their change and sip on wine, and we had to close it down.
That's where it all began, isn't it? Cheech and Chong.
Exactly.
And Shelby was a waitress?
I was a waitress. Tommy wouldn't let me in the show. I asked to be in the show. He said no. So I was a waitress.
So it could have been Cheech and Chong and Shelby.
Well, like it is now, Cheech and Chong and Shelby.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom.
But there is one important magazine that we have left out here, Poppin. What's the importance of Poppin?
Poppin', this is what the magazine Cheech was writing and selling. And he was a music editor, I believe.
And if we open right there, we see
Warning. Some of the language used may be offensive. Richard Pryor.
by.
By who? Rich Maron. I didn't know
Was it Rich Maron?
Yes, he wrote that.
Yeah, Rich Maron.
So was he writing for the magazine before doing improv with you?
Yeah, he was, absolutely.
I was curious, what can you say about these records here? What era is this, Tommy Chong?
Right after I quit, and Bobby went on his own, and he did, for Smokey Robinson was a producer, and he did Tailor Made Soul, and he was a writer. There's Tommy.
And what can you say about Tommy Milton? What happened after Shades and after the Vancouvers? Because we look at this Vancouvers picture, and you aren't in it, are you?
Bob Taylor and the Vancouvers.
Oh, this is your brother-in-law's there. We didn't know
That's
about that. We didn't know about this.
Oh, that's it. Oh, they used that one. Oh, isn't that funny?
What's going on here?
Oh, well,
They didn't tell us about this. This is the first time we saw this.
Gary and Floyd. That's the band I had at the Cinegrill.
Yeah.
And I had to quit it because I was the only one not getting paid.
And you were paying them. He had to pay them and pick them up to drive them to the gig and the whole thing.
And again, who are we here with? Shelby
Shelby Chong.
and Tommy
Chong.
at Neptune Records.
I'm still looking at this bootleg record here.
We have a Tommy 7-inch, don't we? So this is after the Shades, obviously, right?
Yeah.
That's when he started doing cowboy music.
Well, you know what? He was in Nashville trying to make it as a songwriter, and I was there doing a video for Hank Williams Jr. it was all my crazy friends are coming over tonight, and I was there with George Jones and Willie and all the great acts were there. And Tommy was such a fan of country music, so after the video party, I invited Tommy to the party. I had no idea how racist Hank Williams Jr. was. And so Tommy and I are at the party, and I thought everybody was acting kind of weird. You know, they're kind of walking by and looking at us. And I was just sitting there, and Tommy, we were just, you know, reminiscing because we hadn't seen each other for years. And then finally this drunk girl came up, and she goes, yeah, I like what you done. I like that. What I done? You know, she says, you don't know how much you pissed Hank Williams Jr. off, do you? And I said, no. What are you talking about? She's, well, you know. She looks at Tommy and gives that. Well, you know what I'm talking about, you know. Yeah. And then I got the drift. And Tommy was very cool about it. He just ignored it like I did, you know, because Tommy, like I say, he was a football player, and he was. No, and he was a boxer by trade too. You know, he was like fought some professional fights, so you didn't mess with him.
Shelby Chong's leaving.
Well, thanks much, Shelby, and Doot Loot Do.
Do.
Yeah! Do you have any stories of kids bringing your records to school, like show and tell, bringing a Cheech and Chong record to school to show everybody?
Well, it's not so much show and tell. What they would do, they would learn a Cheech and Chong routine. And then they would do it at their, you know, their showtime. And then they would their parents would have to come and you know, they'd be told that, you know, you can't do that sort of stuff in the school. But more kids than enough got their start in show business doing Cheech and Chong bits, you know, because we were so crazy, you know. And the kids, they loved it. Well, to this day, you know, I got a big, huge kid following, you know, because they still relate to that humor, you know.
And could you finally give a shout out to Yvonne Young? She helped set up this interview.
Yvonne, you're my angel, dear. I love you. I always have. Henry doesn't know it, but I've always had a crush on you.
And Henry's stepson, Garrett, G-Man.
Oh, G-Man. He's doing well, isn't he?
Yeah, he owns a club, Fortune Sound Club.
Oh, that's his? Wow.
You had to like MC in between bands, like a Texas Jam in like 1978. Do you remember that? That's pretty hard, isn't it? Like in between bands, what's happening there?
Oh no, it was. They pay you, man. They pay you and give you a mic. There you go, no problem. Except we did a New Year's Eve gig one time, and I was supposed to introduce what's the guy, John Sebastian, folk singer. And he had a roadie that was real nasty, long hair, but he was creepy. And he says, "Are you introducing John?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Okay, when you see me, that means John's right behind me. Start introducing him." I said, "No problem." So I'm waiting, and I look. Oh, there he is. He comes up. So I introduce John Sebastian. Then he comes up to me. He says, "Hey, asshole. What are you doing? He's not ready yet. I was coming out here to tell you he's not ready yet." And then he turned and walked away. So I grabbed him by the ponytail and I give him a shot, man. Boom. And knocked his tooth out right on stage. Cheech, he's had his back to me, he turns around and looks, he goes, what's going on here? And then you know, he didn't fight back or anything. It was like one and done, you know. And then John eventually made it on stage, and then I'm backstage. And I felt kind of bad about it, you know. And so I tried to apologize, you know, but he didn't. He wasn't accepting my apology, and so. But everybody else came up and said, "Hey, man, thanks a lot," because everybody wanted to smack the guy, you know. But I had to quit smacking people because it's a Canadian in me, you know. It's, you know, I grew up playing hockey, and you know, if someone insults you, you gotta answer it right away, you know, and you can't let it slide or else it'll get worse. But I right after that, you know, Cheech and everybody, they told me, you know, I'm too famous to be smacking people.
Lastly, Tommy Chong, what does dog shit taste like?
If you smoke it, tastes like, good weed. If it's mixed with weed, doesn't matter what's in it. Hey, listen, people have been smoking before it got legal. You're smoking a lot worse than dog shit, man. Because when that weed comes up from Mexico and they want to make it heavier, you don't know what's in there.
Well, thanks so much, Tommy Chong. Keep on rocking in a free world and doot loot do.
Doot doot.
Yeah.
Okay, what can I don't need anything, I guess. Boxing Day. Well, you got it all here. If I need anything, I'll get a copy. Who's this guy?